Hello, and welcome to Bio 103, which is human biology. My name is Brian Sohan, and I'm going to be the instructor for this course for this semester. I just wanted to briefly navigate the course shell on Blackboard, show you a couple different things. So you just to get you to feel comfortable with the format. First off, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I have been teaching at Dutchess for 11 years, but teaching at Dutchess is not my full time job. My full time job is teaching biology for the Newburgh School District. I've been down there for 16 or 17 years. And I also teach human biology there as well. In fact, I took the course that I teach at Dutchess and I created a high school level course, which is very similar. Yeah. As you get logged on to Blackboard and you select this course, Bio 103, it'll bring you to this page, depending on what section you're in. And you'll see over here in this drop down menu, there's a couple different things. And really, we are going to be looking at three of them. One of them that we're going to be looking at is down here. It says Lecture Notes and Lab Atlas. And if you click on that, in the lecture notes, these are all the notes for every chapter that we're covering every week. If you go into the other one, this Bio Lab Atlas, this is a very large, I'm not going to click on it because it does take a few minutes to, actually I can click on it, to open up. It's a big file, but it's a very large PowerPoint that covers every lab that we do. So lab 1 through 14. There's material in there that is study material that I will be using actually when we do the lab activities together online. So these are two very important. Let's see if this will open. Yeah, great. So this is our lab atlas, and it's just a study tool, right? It's a learning tool. And I use it when I present the labs, and you should use it to help prepare for lab exams as well. Okay. Up here, we have discussions. Periodically, I'm going to ask you guys to come into the discussion board and say something. Right now, we have our first discussion is just introducing yourself. So it's just, I'm asking you to just tell me a little bit about your educational goals, hobbies, yada, yada, yada. And there's some instructions here on how to start a thread as well. So this, again, is just kind of like practice. In the future, I'm going to be giving you guys a couple homework assignments that involve selecting a certain disorder, where you would choose a disorder associated with the human body system that we're covering, and then you would do like a mini presentation about it, not with your face in it or your voice in it, just like a PowerPoint slide presentation. You would make that, but we're going to use a discussion board to select the disorder projects and just briefly describe them to each other. This way, when we're telling everybody what we're doing, we don't have duplicates. Everybody's going to do their own. All right. Now, all the meat and potatoes of the course is going to be in this tab over here, which is called Content Weekly Modules. If we click on that, there's going to be folders for each week. And right now, the folder for week 1 is here. So if we click on that, you'll see there's just like an introduction. I'm listing what different technology requirements you might want to have. and just instructions on like kind of what I'm doing right now, how to get started with the course, what you should be doing, where you should be looking. So this paragraph, these bullet points just kind of tell you to navigate these same things that I'm talking about. In addition to that, there's links for the help desk if you're having online or technical problems. There's a phone number there. Their hours are there. If we scroll down, the online OER textbook is available through this link. If you click on this link, that'll take us to the textbook. And you can see the textbook is organized by chapters, and these chapters are the same titles as and numbers as the chapters that were in the notes. All right. So all you have to do is really just click on the first part of it, and then you could scroll through the learning objectives, and then there's material, you read it, right? And then when you get to the end, it'll tell you to continue. My face is in the way here. There you go. Hit next. All right. So you continue until you finish with the chapter. I wanted to show you something else, though, in the textbook that I think is going to be important. If you notice at the end of all the chapters, we have concept checks. The concept checks are mostly questions, but some of them are learning objectives. And I think it would be a good idea to pay close attention to these, because when I make the lecture exams, I think I'm going to be using some of those. All right. So having access to the book, I think, is very important. In fact, when I do the lecture exams, I'm going to be using multiple choice questions. Multiple choice questions are probably going to be coming from the notes, along with some matching questions. And then the extended response or the essay questions I'm probably going to use from these sets that are given to us by the textbook. All right, let's go back. What else do we have in here? There's a course syllabus here. Let's open that up. Take a look at that. All right, looking at the syllabus. In the beginning, I mean, a lot of this you could read on your own time. I'm not going to sit here and read it to you, but there's my contact information. There's a course description. There's some learning outcomes. The textbooks are there. How to log into Blackboard. This is kind of important. This shows you how we're going to calculate your grade. You're going to have 5 chapter tests, one of which we're going to drop, whatever the lowest one is. In addition to that, we're going to have 3 lab exams, each worth 100 points. So right now we're at 700 points. We're going to have those disorder project homework assignments for 20 points each. So we'll have 5 of those for 100 points. And then we're going to have the final comprehensive final exam. So when we add everything up, it adds to 1,000 points. So your grade will be based on 1,000 points. Okay, if we keep going. Lab activities, I'm going to be using the lab book and the lab atlas, and I'm going to be presenting them online. And you're going to follow them. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill in your lab books by hand as I do the labs remotely with you, probably over YouTube. All right. This is pretty basic grading scale. I think everybody uses that same grading scale. If we keep scrolling down, let's get to the schedule. The schedule is kind of important. All right, so for this schedule, I would definitely want to keep this handy. This tells you when everything's going to be due. For week 1, we don't have really any graded assignments due. What I want you to do is read all the documents that are posted in the module for week 1. I do have a practice discussion forum, which I just showed you, and I want to do a practice exam. we're going to use the same one exam, and it'll be practice for the lecture exam, and it's also going to be practice for the lab exam because they're going to be pretty much the same format. So I want to show you how to modify the answer sheets and then send them back to me. So I'll show you, and then I want you to do it. So week 2, we really start to get into content where we're looking at chapter 1. Everything that's on the pink side is the lecture. Everything that's on the blue side is the lab. All right, and you can see they match up pretty good, somewhat good, the best that we could. Okay, and this goes to 16 weeks, and you'll see some weeks all we have is assessments. Like week 15, we don't have any content. We just have assessments. And then week 16, we end with the comprehensive final exam. So this is a very important document. I would keep this handy and make sure you're checking it periodically. Let's go back to the module here. We have our practice lecture exam here. Let's open this up, see what this looks like. Usually when I give you an exam, it's going to come in 2 documents. One document will be a questions document, and the other document will be your answer sheet. When you do complete the exam, all that I really want you to send back to me is the answer sheet. I don't need the questions sent back to me. So here's I created just a practice little mini exam, and this is the questions document. So again, this one has 3 multiple choice, 3 matching, and 2 extended response questions. And here's your answer sheet. So of course there's going to be a spot for the name. To enable editing, let's do that. So you definitely want to put your name on there. Oh. Okay, let's look at the multiple choice questions. The most basic unit of life is and what I would do is I would probably split the screens. So I would have both documents side by side. So let's put the questions document over there. And then when we go back, I could open up another one here. Let's make this one the questions document because this one has our name on it. Where did it go? This one and this one, right? Oh, that's not the one. Yeah, it is. All right, so we have questions over here, and we're going to have our answers over here. Okay, so if we look at question number 1, what is the most basic unit of life, right? The most basic unit of life is and the answer is the cell. So number 1, I'm going to put choice D. If you click on this, there's a drop-down menu here. I like to use these drop-down menus for multiple choice, and I like to use them for matching as well. So get used to this. So just open this up, choose choice D. It goes right in there. Number 2, plant cell is capable of making its own food through the process of, and this one's going to be choice B, photosynthesis. So you click on that, the arrow will appear, choose choice B. And then lastly, the scientific unit of measurement for length while using the microscope is actually this should say micrometer. And because millimeters are too big, inches are way too big. And of course, we can't see a mile under a microscope, right? So that's going to be choice D. So this is how we do the multiple choice. Same thing with the matching. If I put matching on the questions, I put the same thing on the answer sheet, so we don't really have to go back and forth. The basic unit of life, again, according to this up here, is the cell. So I would choose the answer for matching the same way. Cell. How plants make food? Photosynthesis. The unit of length? Under a microscope, micrometer. Now, look, if you go to the extended response, what I'll usually do is I'll give you too many where you only have to choose a couple. Here I'm giving you two, but you only have to choose one. So, what are your feelings about COVID-19? Or tell me something interesting about yourself. So, whatever one you decide to do, just tell me the question number. Let's say question number 2, I want to do. And then you would just add your response below. I like to ride ATV with my family. And give me a couple of sentences, whatever. That's the thing. With the extended response questions, it's not really an invitation to write a book. All you really have to do is make sure you just answer the question. You could use bullets to answer a question, like if it's something that's a list. What makes humans unique, right? In the animal kingdom. Well, there's a list of things. So if you want to answer in a list, you could use the bullets and make a list. All right. Okay. So what do I do now that I'm done? How do I share this with me? Well, I don't want to send the questions back to the teacher. I just want to send my answer sheet back. And normally what I'll do is I'll send the answer sheet in a separate document. But in this case, I didn't. So how would I handle that? Well, I want to convert this to a PDF. So the way I do that is I go over here, I hit File, and I hit Print. Now, I'm not going to print this, but it's under the print menu that I can convert my Microsoft documents to PDFs. But I don't want all the pages. I just want page 2, the second page. All right. Let's make this bigger. Okay, so I'm setting that to Microsoft Print, and I'm only doing page 2. Everything looks good. I'm going to hit Print. And now it's going to ask me to save this somewhere on my desktop. So I'm going to find whatever folder I think is appropriate. And this is the fall 2020 DCC folder. I like that one. And I'm going to put practice answers in here. And I do want to put my name on there also. I've already done this once before for a different class, so I'm going to do it again. All right. And it should be in there. Now I'm ready to send it. So how do I send it? Well, I got to go to my email, and please use your school issued email when we do this. If you're ever emailing me anything, even if it's a message, if it's a question, try to use your school issued email. I'll go over to new message, and I'm going to put in Sohan, and I'm going to attach it from my computer. And where is it? Practice answers Sohan, that's the one. And there it is. And then I hit send. And it should be sent to me. And it should be sent to me. There it is. And when I open it up, it's going to be without the questions. It's just going to be the answer sheet. And it's not going to be a Word document. It's going to be a nice PDF. So it's going to look nice and clean, which is pretty cool. All right. So that being said, if we go back to Blackboard, the course shell, let's just to make sure we covered everything. We got all of our weekly stuff under the content weekly modules. We went over discussions. You're going to have to come here periodically. And some useful information is under this tab as well with the notes in the Lab Atlas. And I think that's pretty much it for now. So what you guys need to do for week 1 is just navigate through this, get comfortable doing this. One other thing I wanted to show you actually is if you want to scan a document, you can use your phone to do that. There's on the syllabus, I provide information on how to download a scanning app onto your phone. But if you have an iPhone, you could see there's something called Notes. Where's the Notes? Right there. And if you just hold the Notes thing down, a menu will appear, right? And on there it says Scan Document. I don't know if you can see that. So if I hit Scan Document, right, now my camera opens up. And let's say I wanted to scan this piece of paper right here. I want to scan it. I could just use my phone in the Notes thing, hold it up, take a picture, and this is what it looks like. It automatically kind of crops it for you. You could adjust the edges, which is pretty handy, but I like it the way it is. So I'm going to hit Keep Scan. And then I'm going to hit Save. And there it is. Now when I open it, it looks like this. This is a PDF file. There's my fingers down there. It's in color. I can get rid of that. I could hit this little color thing on the bottom in the middle there, and I could turn it to grayscale. Or I could turn it to just black and white. I like the black and white one. Okay. So it looks more like a copied, scanned document. And then it also gives me the opportunity to send it. In the top corner over here, I could send it. I could email it to anybody, including me. So this is a good feature to use if I'm asking for pages of the lab book for you to send to me, because you're going to be writing your lab book out by hand. What you want to do is you want to use some type of scanning feature. If you don't have a scanner at home, probably a mobile scanning feature. iPhones come with it already embedded, but there's many apps that you can use. And on the syllabus, there's one that I list. Actually, the whole department recommends this one. I don't even remember what it is, but it's on there. But for all the iPhone people, I think that's the easiest way to handle that. All right, so listen, I'm going to go. I think that should answer a lot of your questions. If you do have any questions, you could do one of two things. If it's a question that you think would be a good question for the whole class, put it in the discussion forum. If you have a question that you think is just for me, if you don't think it's appropriate for the whole class, then just email it to me. I usually return my emails within 24 hours, unless you email me on the weekend. But then, I get them. I usually get back pretty quickly. Okay. So that being said, we will start on, that being said, navigate the course, do your practice exam, do the required parts of the discussion forums, and then if email me with any questions. Okay. All right. Good luck. Bye.